Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the front office report. I'm Stephen Huff with the Gulls baseball director of baseball operations, Mike Falcone. And Mike, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Friday, it's beautiful.
Yeah, can't be better weather than this. Heating up a little bit. Now, we're about into July. By this time, the interns seems like they're settling into a groove a little bit, understanding their responsibilities and roles. Now, you have a broader view of the interns. Do you start thinking that they understand the roles a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the same thing with the baseball team. June, the first 5, 6, 7 games, everybody's starting to understand a little bit more of what needs to be done and what time, what needs to be done before the game at the field. So yeah, everybody's really starting to get a good sense of their position, how they can help better the overall organization, which is great.
Last time I talked to you for the pregame segment, we talked about how you're the busiest man in Rhode Island, especially on home games. But I know that's also the case for away games. So what are some of those responsibilities that you have when the team's on the road?
Just making sure that the transportation to and from is all set. Post-game meal when we go somewhere else, just making sure our guys are fed properly and just kind of taking into account of all that. And really just making sure everything's kind of running smoothly. I don't go to every away game, but I try to get as many as possible. And I also like to see how other teams do their operation. Maybe, I don't want to say steal, but take a good idea from one of the other teams who do a good job in our league. So
take some notes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always learning.
Now, obviously, as the season goes on, College World Series ends, you're still bringing in some new players, or new players arrive at least, but also some players have to go home because of injuries or have to go back to school early, so you're also having to turn over the roster a little bit and bring in some new guys. What's that process like?
It's never ending, honestly. You're always seeing who's available, who's dropping down from another league, who's getting released. I don't deal with it too much. Chuck Pava, Chris Patsos do a great job staying in contact with coaches from around the country, but it's always a challenge when you lose somebody early in the season because you can't plan for things like that. I wish we had a roster of 10, 15 guys, a D-League, a minor league system, but unfortunately when you lose somebody, you're almost starting from square one because a lot of the good guys are signed to other teams. So it's a challenge, but Chuck and Chris do a great job of that stuff, and I try to assist whenever possible.
All right, thank you, Mike. Obviously, like I said last time, you really are the busiest man in Rhode Island. I thank you for taking the time out here today. So, Gulls pregame show continues next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.